Hi there. I thought we'd spend a few minutes today talking about motivation. Now, this is something that all college professors are concerned about. It's something that is very elusive, unpredictable, and changeable. You face a class full of students and it's really hard to tell whether they're motivated or not, because motivation is really an internal kind of thing. So you may face a room full of students and they may be motivated, but you just can't tell it. Now, there's many models on motivations, many models, many theories, and there's a lot of things out there, but I want to talk to you today about one short one that I apply in my teaching that I think works really well. This particular one is called the ARCS model of motivation. ARCS, A-R-C-S, very easy to apply. This works well whether you're trying to teach a class full of 15 students or 100, or maybe trying to get your teenager to mow the lawn. It's very applicable to a lot of things. It's also applicable to speaking engagements if you're talking to anything. Let's talk briefly about the parts of the ARCS model. The first one is A, and A stands for attention. Now, this is pretty standard. Most people know that you really should get the attention of your audience before you start to talk. But with this particular model, the A for attention really means that you gain the attention of your audience and you maintain it. Some people do a great job getting the attention right at the beginning of class, but then it just kind of goes down after that. So some of the strategies that you can use to maintain the attention are variability. You really probably should only be talking for 15 to 20 minutes at a time, and then stop. Have the students do something. Change up the activities. Write on the board. Go from your PowerPoint to the board, move around the class. So you want to keep their attention. The second one, R, is relevance. And relevance, I like to look at that as the so what. Every day when you come into class, you should imagine that the students are asking you, so what? What's the point of this? So you really have to tell them what the worth is of what you're talking about. You need to tell them how it's relevant to their needs right now and how it's relevant to later on. Another component of relevance is if you give students choices in some of the things that they do, and also give them objectives when they come into your class so that they know what they should be able to do at the end of today's class that they couldn't do before. Now, sometimes the students may not really be interested in your class. I know you find that hard to believe, but they may be interested in the way that you teach. They may be interested in the activities, the videos that you show, the instructional strategies that you use. So relevance has several different components. The third component, the C, is confidence. And in confidence, really what you want to do is give the students learning requirements. You want to tell them what they need to be successful. You also want to give them success opportunities early on. If students go through a class, and I know we've all had these, we've been victims of them, if you have just a midterm and a final, you really don't know how you're doing. And so your confidence, you really don't have that much confidence because you don't have any gauge of how you're doing. So you want to make sure that you tell the students what you expect of them, good criteria, and that you provide them with success opportunities. Another thing that can help students' confidence is if you give them a variety of assessment measures. Again, going back to just the midterm and the final, that's tough. Maybe everybody doesn't test very well, but maybe if they have something that they can write, maybe some kind of oral presentation, different kinds of things that they do can give them confidence that they can show what they have learned. The last one, S, is satisfaction. And in satisfaction, the main thing about this is that you provide the students a real-world kind of experience to exhibit what they've learned. Most of people just take a multiple-choice test at the end of class, and that's really not that satisfying because you don't really know whether you can apply it or not. So if you can think of some activities, they don't have to be assessment kinds of things, they don't have to be graded, but if you can provide them some short activities in class where they can do whatever it is you've taught them to do, then that provides a lot more satisfaction because they can say, hey, I can do this. This is great. I learned how to do something new. Now, motivation, as I said at the beginning, is a tough kind of thing because it is internal. But what you really have to do, too, is you have to think about motivation at the very beginning of your class. It's not something that you design all your content, you get everything done, and you go, oops, let me put some motivation into there. It has to be systematically integrated from the very beginning. That's what's really important. And as you go into a class and you look at your class, an important component of this is an audience analysis. If you're teaching a graduate level class, then you can probably assess your audience and say, okay, it's graduate school, they're here, they're in this subject area, so I really don't have to convince them very much that this is an important thing or it's going to help them a lot. They're there because they want to be there. Conversely, if you're teaching some undergraduate sections, maybe freshman or sophomore, very large classes, those students are just in there to check that class off and get going. So in that particular audience analysis, you know that you might have to spend more time with the attention and the relevance component. So it's important you think about your audience when you go in there. You want to use this ARCS model, again, a very easy thing, as organizing strategies for how you teach your class. If you think about each class when you go in there, what am I going to do for attention, what's going to be relevance, what's going to be confidence, and what am I going to do for satisfaction, you will be a long way on the way to motivating your students. So try this simple little model, and I think that you'll find your students will be more attentive, they'll find the information relevant, they'll feel a lot more confident about what they're doing, and they'll feel satisfied that they've learned what you have to teach them.